Welcome to the deep dive. We're looking at intelligence reports today that, honestly, read more like a screenplay for a spy thriller than dry intel.
Absolutely. And today we're wading into something particularly disturbing. The source material outlines a conspiracy. Well, it's global in scope and terrifyingly plausible.
So our mission here, for you listening, is to synthesize the mechanics, and maybe more importantly, the motivations behind this plot. It involves a rogue FBI agent, two very different, highly engineered bioweapons.
Right. One is weapons-grade anthrax, but produced in this surprisingly compact lab in California. The other is even stranger, a yeast designed to literally erase memory.
And this isn't your standard terror plot, is it? It feels like an attack on history itself, the way law enforcement had to piece it together from, bits and pieces, crushed trucks, burnt barns, encrypted chats, specialized biodetection.
Fragmented is the word, and it all pointed towards this dual threat, targeting major religious sites like Mecca and Jerusalem, but also testing domestically right here in the U.S.
The complexity and the level of infiltration. It's staggering. Let's start with the main figure, Lawrence Winter.
Okay, Winter. He didn't really operate as Winter much, did he? The sources list aliases. John Brown, Sam Bedford, Jim Thorpe. Makes him almost a ghost.
Almost. But there's this one identifier, a really unique physical trait. Heterochromia. One blue eye, one green eye.
Yeah, the sources flag that. Suggests he might be a genetic chimera, which is fascinating in itself.
But think about that. For a rogue agent, someone trying to stay hidden,
Yeah.
why have such a distinctive feature visible?
That's a great question. It could be arrogance, maybe, or a kind of signature. Like he wanted certain people to know someone unique was behind this, even if they didn't know his real name. It sets a psychological tone, operating outside the normal rules.
Okay, so that's the person. But the how? The technical side is where it gets really next level. He had a partner, Tommy Juarez.
Juarez, described as a wizard of improvisation. He ran the lab based out of an old winery in Temecula, California.
And he wasn't new to this field, right? The source is linked into anthrax.
Exactly. He was a suspect, knew the processes. He built this compact containment facility, a hot box, just 8 by 12 feet. And the production method, it's brilliantly stealthy.
You mean the inkjet printers?
Yes. Modified, networked inkjet printers. Consumer tech, basically.
Using off-the-shelf printers to make weapons-grade bioweapons. How does that even work?
Well, Juarez filled the ink cartridges with a slurry containing Bacillus anthracis. The printers, working together, aerosolized it, depositing this incredibly fine powder into jars.
And the result?
Weapons-grade anthrax. The Amerithrax strain grading out at 1 trillion spores per gram. So fine acted almost like a gas. Dry, clingy, incredibly dangerous.
That level of quality control from inkjet printers, it bypasses all the usual counter-proliferation flags, doesn't it? No specialized equipment to track.
Precisely. That's the terrifying genius of it. CO test components, untraceable logistics through normal channels.
And they tested this stuff.
They did. Winter, acting as John Brown, showed it off to Ibrahim al-Hidi in Iraq. They used kidnapped Iraqi business people.
Tested on them.
Yes. The sources are grimly specific. The victims developed lesions, but these lesions, they apparently glowed green and then red in the dark before death.
Glowing lesions. What does that suggest? Some kind of genetic marker.
It points to very sophisticated genetic modification, not just anthrax, but engineered anthrax, maybe to signal successful infection, maybe just to add a layer of terror, or, as Winter pitched it, to show it could potentially be refined, selective. He actually suggested it could target Jewish populations specifically.
Horrifying. So that's the first weapon. Targeted, potentially genocidal. But then the plan, it shifts, doesn't it? It becomes almost philosophical.
Right. That's the second phase, the memory and mayhem part. The second weapon wasn't anthrax. It was a yeast.
A yeast.
An engineered yeast designed to cause permanent, widespread amnesia. It does this by inducing prion formation, leading to BSE-like spongiform lesions in the brain.
Spongiform, like mad cow disease. So holes in the brain tissue.
Essentially, yes. Think rapid onset Alzheimer's, but potentially contagious, wiping out long-term memory, personal history, collective history. Gone.
Prions are incredibly hard to destroy, too.
Yeah.
It's a weapon aimed at culture, at memory itself.
Absolutely. Cultural erasure. And they tested this concept domestically on a white supremacist compound up in Washington state.
Run by a guy named Chambers, a convicted felon.
Yeah.
What did they find there?
Evidence of dispersal testing, sifting racks hanging from the ceiling, vibrated by a motor, shaking out aluminum powder mixed with the yeast agent.
Aluminum powder, why?
Probably to simulate dispersal, study wind patterns, how the yeast agent would settle. And this mixture, it was packed into fireworks launchers?
Yes, small custom mortars. They call them hedgehogs. Again, that mix of high-tech bioengineering and crude improvised delivery. And this test site,
Yeah.
it wasn't just a lab. It was dangerous.
Extremely. An EOD expert, Griffin, went in wearing a top-of-the-line bomb suit. Eng Sorkin EOD-23 should have protected him. Caught in a massive explosion, survived, but barely, shattered skull, needed bone grafts from his own hip. It shows the sheer force they were dealing with, the booby trapping.
And the target for this memory weapon, this yeast, Silesia, Ohio.
Yes, Silesia. A town noted in the sources for having more churches per capita, but significantly 0 Jews.
So the target wasn't ethnic, it was mainstream America, mainstream Christianity.
It seems so, attacking American collective memory, maybe trying to sow internal chaos by erasing shared history, shared faith.
Did it work? The test in Ohio.
The reports confirm it. Hundreds of residents developed the spongiform lesions, rapid, severe, long-term memory loss, forgetting family, history, everything.
Unbelievable. This kind of silent, devastating attack.
Yeah.
How did law enforcement even respond?
Chaos. The sources describe intense internal strife, paranoia at FBI headquarters, talk of Patriot files on U.S. senators. The whole system was cracking under the strain.
Too big, too sensitive to handle through normal channels.
Exactly, which led to these clandestine groups, like BuDark.
BuDark, Bureau of Ultimate Darkness. What kind of name is that?
Tells you how desperate things were, right? Sometimes called the savior, sometimes the betrayer. It was this secret interdepartmental task force, FBI, DS, whoever they needed, operating completely off the books.
A shadow organization to fight a shadow threat.
Pretty much. Their job was to track Winter, contain this, without causing mass panic.
Which brings us to the end game, Mecca.
Right. Winter's plan B. If the domestic plan failed or was exposed, he'd target Mecca during the Hajj, specifically the ritual stoning of the devil at Mina.
Maximum global dispersal vector. Billions of pilgrims returning home.
The perfect way to spread a memory plague worldwide, so BuDark had to intervene fast and hard.
How did they do it?
Top team deployed. William Griffin, the injured EOD tech's son, actually Fouad Al-Husam, others. They used stealth aircraft, whisper birds, onto a Red Sea frigate, the USS Robert A. Heinlein.
And surveillance in that chaos. The Hajj involves millions of people.
Cutting-edge tech, UAVs deploying tiny autonomous sensors called OSMO midges. Yeah, they look like little sparrows, flying sensors, and they track targets based on, get this, long-term dietary habits.
Dietary habits, how? That sounds like science fiction.
Highly classified, I'm sure, but the implication is they track unique metabolic markers or isotopic signatures. Things absorbed from regional foods over time, left on skin or clothes. In a crowd that big where faces are obscured or just too numerous, it's maybe the only way.
Incredible. And they found the launch vehicles.
3 trucks, yeah. Operated by Israeli settlers, sources say, acting as Winter's contacts on the ground.
So the confrontation.
Intense. William and Fouad engaged the settlers. Fouad used a laser designator to call in an airstrike, an OWL precision-guided munition on 1 truck.
But there were 3 trucks.
Right. And Fouad, he made a choice. He found a Saudi contact who'd been compromised, killed him, the sources say, for dignity to prevent interrogation. Then he stayed behind to ensure the 3rd truck was destroyed. He sacrificed himself in the ensuing explosion.
God, so they stopped the main dispersal.
Tactically, yes. 3 massive fireballs over Mecca confirmed the trucks were destroyed. But
there's always a but in these things.
The reports indicate the yeast had already been released from at least 1 truck before the strike hit.
Oh no. So it's out there.
It means the memory plague is potentially loose, carried globally, silently, by pilgrims returning home.
So, wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here?
It's this terrifying convergence, isn't it? Ideological hate deep, profound, hate-meeting advanced, stealthy bioweapons like prions and modified anthrax.
Produced using everyday technology like inkjet printers, all orchestrated by one incredibly capable, incredibly damaged rogue agent.
And Winter's motivation. It wasn't just hate, according to the analysis. It was deeper, a kind of cosmic grief, a desire for universal forgetting, to wipe away all history, all pain, erasing memory as the final solution.
The success wasn't measured in bodies, but in the potential erasure of memory itself.
Exactly. Slow, silent destruction of what makes us human, our history, our connections.
Which leaves us with a really chilling final thought for you to consider. If this yeast agent, this memory plague, actually works and spreads, how would the world even remember this attack happened?
If it causes permanent amnesia on a large scale, could the details, the perpetrator, the fact of the attack itself just fade away?
Could the world literally forget the source of its own potential destruction, losing the ability to even understand what happened, let alone fight back? Makes you think.